how many people deal with this problem of you're overwhelmed, like something good is happening, something that you wanted to happen is happening, but it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people deal with it. It's like, for me, for example, mine is a lot to do with like money and stuff like that. So it's like, a year or two ago, Britt and I decided we wanted to manifest a house. We wanted to buy a house. We're like, we don't know how the fuck we're going to afford it because like where we are, housing it, like the housing market is fucking insane. And we don't make nearly enough for what the banks need you to make to like buy a house. Anyway, long story short, we found out a way, we got a house that we would have never been able to afford otherwise. And now it is like, now you have these different problems of overwhelm. We're like, fuck, now we have all this shit we need. We have new responsibilities. We have to pay property taxes. We have to deal with all these issues on our property. Like things are breaking down. We have to fix them. We have a big tree that's going into the house. We got to cut it. It's like, there's all these different moving parts, but it's like I saw this thing yesterday that was actually like, whatever you're trying to manifest or attract will actually bring the complete opposite into your life, because that's how you're going to know when you're getting the thing that you want. So for example, if every single person looked like you, how would you know what you look like? Because it's all the same, right? So you need the opposites to find the thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, let it out. Let's hear what's going on.
I don't know. I just feel like the last few episodes have been like a lot about me. It's just like a lot going on. Like, so this job opportunity like fell into my lap. Literally fell into my lap. Wasn't looking for it, wasn't anything. And it's like a pretty great opportunity for me to make that change that we were talking about with my current job. And it is, it's really great. It's like, a clinic receptionist role that could turn into like assistant manager role. But it's full time. It's like 30 to 40 hours a week. And I have a lot of feelings about it because I'm like, well, if I like now there's a second interview. So it's like if I don't get it, then I'm kind of like, oh, like what do I do? Because I already started envisioning my life not at the store, and it felt really fucking good. I was like, yeah, like I just got excited. I didn't have to do certain things anymore, and just like a slower pace, and like I was really like pumped up. So now I'm kind of like, oh, okay, like there's a second interview, and then like there's like a job shadow, and then like and then I'll find out if it's like a good fit. So it's just like that's like a lot. Like that's kind of like weighing on me because it's not like yes or no. Like it's not
Right.
done deal. So it's just kind of in the air. It's not like I have anxiety about it. It's just like I'm trying to balance my whole life. And I like to make plans. Like I like to know so that I can like schedule my life because I got a lot going on because I'm launching the pain program for July 1st and it's June 22nd, 21st. And so I got like a lot of work with that to do. And then so I'm like, how am I going to manage? Like if I do get this job that I really want, that is like up leveling my life, and allowing a bit more financial freedom for myself. How am I going to manage that plus my personal life, plus like all the work to launch the pain program, plus actually like doing the pain program? How am I gonna do it all? It's a lot. And I'm just freaking out. I am freaking out.
Well, yeah, it's like you manifested what you were wanting in a sense. You're wanting to leave the store. Now you have a new opportunity. So first, I just want to say for anyone who hasn't seen the episode, go back. I think it's 2 episodes ago where we talk where basically I'm like poking the shit out of you, being like, well, what's holding you back from leaving the store? I'm blah, 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 blah. And basically like showing showing people how like your beliefs create your limitations.
Yeah.
Like your beliefs, your judgments, your conclusions create limitations, and really how we're talking about like following your inner knowing and that kind of thing. So anyway, it's just pretty funny how after just making you aware of some of those things, this new door just opened up.
Yeah, and like
And
I didn't even seek it. So that's like the craziest part. A friend literally called me and was like, "Hey, I know these people and like they're looking for a person and like you're like the right person." And you know how you were saying like with your job, like you have all of these like random skills that like make you just right?
yeah.
This is like the same thing. It's a bunch of like random like skill sets, right? With like a background in holistic like health. And like I have it. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
me. And management and leadership and like like I have all the skills like for this particular job, and it just like boop fell in my lap, and
And
now I'm
had
like,
you
huh,
not
what?
yeah, and had you not had the awareness of like what doors am I not being open to, would you have been like, oh yeah, sure, or would you have been more like, well, I'm trying to leave the store, so why would I take that? So
Yeah,
in a sense, I'm this is more of just speculation on my part. It's just curious because had we not had that conversation and you've been made aware of like what possibilities are you cutting yourself off from, if we hadn't had that conversation, would you have been open to this possibility? So anyway, that
yeah.
I digress.
I know it.
But
It hurts my brain. I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if we never like had that conversation.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I guess just like kind of throwing this out there for people watching and listening, like, hey, this is what we help people with. Is like break down those barriers, like create more opportunity in your life, more possibility. But I want to go back to like this feeling of overwhelm for you and just kind of like poke again a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
when you think about, so you went for the job interview, you have a second interview, and this other things you got to do. When you think about doing like the second interview, the job shadowing, that kind of thing, like how does that feel for you? Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? How does it feel?
Um, it's interesting when I like had the first interview, like afterwards, I felt so calm. Like I just really felt like it was so bizarre because I was like trying to like elicit like the fear mongering. Like I was trying to, talk to myself in my head and be like, well, what about this? And what about that? And like, are you sure you're ready to leave? And like, da da da, like all the like things. And it just like, I couldn't even like make it manifest beyond like one word because my body was just like, no, girl, like we're calm. It's
Hmm.
good. You're good. So I thought that was like really strange. Like it was an eerie sense of calm. Like I was just so like level. And then um I still was just like, reasonably like thinking about, okay, well, how am I gonna like manage my life? Because now I'm already like pretty busy and I only work part-time. So how am I gonna do full-time and like manage everything? And then I talked to my friend and we kind of like, sorted some things out in my brain. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, like, there's things that you can do. You can hire other people. You can, I can delegate some tasks in my life to other people because I'll be like making more money. So like as I should, so that I can put myself in the places that are growing me and helping clients and right creating more financial freedom for myself. And so then I like was feeling like really good about it. Then I got really excited about it. And I was like, yeah. And I was just so pumped to like not be doing the tasks that I'm doing because they don't mean much to me
Hmm.
lately. And so then I got really excited. I was like, yeah. But then they called me for so I didn't know that there was a second interview. So I think that kind of like shook me because like I wasn't expecting it because she never mentioned it. She just was like, oh, okay, you're gonna do like a job shadow. And I was like, okay, cool. And then after that, then like we'll get you like doing training. And then she called me yesterday and said, oh, actually, like we do two interviews. And the way that she made it seem was like they always do that, just they didn't have someone available this week, so it would have been next week anyways. But it
Hmm.
just kind of like threw me off because then I was like, oh no, like what if like, what if this doesn't like fall, like, what if this falls through? And then all of like my excitement to like leave is just for nothing kind of thing.
Well, how does like the thought of going for a second interview sit with you?
It feels good. Like I feel like I interview well. Like interviews don't normally like I don't get bugged out by interviews. I
Okay.
just kind of time and like be myself and I don't know. I'm good at interviews. People like me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's not that part that's like it's just this like, okay, well, in my brain, I was like, okay, well, it's done and like I have the job and like life's gonna change.
Hmm.
And I kind of like mentally was like preparing myself for that. And then now there's like this like little hurdle that like I have to get approved by like somebody else. And then I have to do the job shadow and then like maybe I'll get the offer.
Right.
So it's just like a little bit,
There's an expectation,
yeah. But then my
which
brain
is
was like, what if I don't get the job and all that this was to just make me imagine my life not at the store because I was so kind of like attached to the store. It's very hard to walk away. And my friend had a really good way of saying it. She said, like, when you get a discount at a store and you're like, you like the people you work with and like things are overall like good and like whatever. You get lots, you go to lots of dinner trainings, you get lots of free products. But you're like ready to move up in your life. She calls it, someone said to her, it's like the velvet handcuffs. And I was like, yeah, it is like the velvet handcuffs, like keeping you like there. So with this like new thing, and I was like imagining my life without it. It's like those velvet handcuffs just like melted away. And I was like, yeah, okay, like I can like imagine my life now. And maybe that's all this job was like for, was to get me thinking in that way of like what else is possible if I'm like out of it. And like maybe it's not, I don't know, like if they offer me the job, I'll probably take it. But if they didn't, I feel like that if it doesn't be my job, then I feel like it really was just to open my eyes to like see the excitement beyond where I'm at.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I just want to like touch on for a second, like this is something that we've talked about for a few episodes now, but in the one one of the core statements of what we of the tools that we use to help people is all the judgments, conclusions, expectations, projections, points of views, separations that I have about XYZ. So in this case, my work and what that should look like and where that should be.
Yeah.
I destroyed and uncreate it all now. Because that
Amen to
it's like
that.
you said, that going to that first interview, you did in your mind, you were like, yeah, it's done. That was the expectation in your mind.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what if you just didn't have any expectation? You were just like, you know what? My life's fucking dope as fuck as it is now. So if I
Yes.
get it, sweet. And if I don't, fucking sweet too, because I got shit going on.
Yeah, that's where really I'm like trying to like nurture myself into that place of like, hey, just like relax. Like, yo, like everything's gonna work out the way like it's gonna work out. But there's yeah, the overwhelm starts to come up of like this like type A personality part of me that's like, well, I want to like plan it and I want to get my workout classes and I want to like know my schedule and I want to like give my 2 weeks notice and like I want to like just want to get her
Mhm.
done,
Yeah.
because it's like that although that task is kind of like weighing on me, but yet it's like not even happened. So I'm trying really hard to just be like, just like be here, be now, focus on the things that are in your reality like right now. And like that's gonna be like whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty like common thing, I feel like, is like if just for a lot of people, they want to plan, they want to know what's going on. And it's
Yes.
when you start living in this way that we've been like talking about of just like following your intuition, once you start letting go of that, it becomes a lot easier because then you're not being like, well, I have to do this and I have this other thing I have to do. And
Yeah.
you just let it drop away, be like, hey, well, that's not on the intuitive path right now. But anyway, I had something else that I was going to say, but now I forget. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you about this phrase that I heard recently for a job interview to basically make yourself be a super boss. And that is when you have an interview, ending it with, especially when they say, do you have any questions? Saying, yes. Do you have, or what apprehensions do you have as a company to, I'm probably phrasing it wrong, but I'm sure you could look it up. Basically saying like, what apprehensions do you guys have to hiring me or knowing that I can do the job? And that puts you in the driver's seat in that moment, because then they basically are put on the spot of like that to tell you why they would or wouldn't hire you. So they'll basically tell you right there, like, yeah, you're fucking qualified. We would totally hire you. Or
Yeah.
like, no, there's this and that is concerning. And then you have a chance to show why that's not true.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Maybe look up the exact like words, because
Yeah.
the lady that I heard it from said it just fucking beautifully.
That's right. Yeah. I feel like, so I have a kind of like an inside scoop on like this job just because of the person who like told me about it. Um, and so I feel like their whole like second interview thing is a standard like process because they always go through like their like mother company.
Mhm.
Like they always like check in like, hey mom, is this okay? Kind of thing. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so like that's just like something standard that they do, not because like I did something weird in the interview. Because I
Mhm.
felt like it felt like really good in the interview because she got like excited and wanted me to like, she's like, I know it's a lot for you, but like even if you can come in for like 1 or 2 shifts like before you like officially start to like start training.
Right.
So like you don't talk with people about like starting training if you don't like want to hire them.
Yeah. Typically.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Well, yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
So yeah, then the overwhelm piece is like, I don't know.
Juggling life.
Yeah, part of me is like, is that like the right decision? Or do I just like hone in and get like 20 people for my program? I don't know, like, because how if I get this job, how am I going to like, so for the next 2 months, my enrollment is opening for the pain
Wait,
program.
finish that thought. How am I going to?
Um, well, okay, I am finishing in the thought. Okay, so my pain program is like been opening in like July, and it's July to August, and the program starts in September. So how am I going to do the things that I wanted to do to get people to enroll by, booking like live seminars and talking about like pain and emotions and doing Instagram lives? Like how am I going to like,
So wait, the real question is, how am I going to enroll 20 people?
yeah, like
That
how
is the
am I,
simple question.
yeah,
So let's not overcomplicate it, because you're bringing in all those other components, which is actually cutting you off from possibility.
right,
Just saying,
yeah.
if I do these seminars, if I do this and I do that, blah, 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 blah. Wait, let's
Well,
go back to the basis. How am I going to enroll 20 people? What else is
well,
possible? What's possible for how I can enroll 20 people? What if there was one thing that I could do maybe in one day or one evening that enrolled 20 people? How much time would that free up for me?
yeah. My brain's like, I don't know what that would be. But
But just
yeah,
by continuing to ask yourself, how am I going to enroll 20 people? How am I going to enroll 20 people? If I had no judgments about this, if I had no judgments, no conclusions, no points of views, how would I enroll 20 people by this date?
yeah. Actually, if I get the job, it's only going to be 10 people or less because there's no way I can do 20 people plus I'm not gonna work like 65 hours a week. It's not doable for me.
Well, that's a good
So
start. At least you have
yeah, it would
a
probably be
chance to
like,
get testimonials and whatnot.
yeah, it'd probably be like 7 or 8 people
So there, oh
if
look,
I have
now
like
your
that job.
number is getting lower. So now your question is maybe even a lighter, like, how am I going to get 8 people? How am I going to get 8 people? If I had no judgments about this, if I had no conclusions, expectations, anything about this, how would I get 8 people?
Yeah. Maybe I don't need to like go in person. Like maybe I just need to like have my paid ad and have calls with
Maybe.
people. Yeah. That just runs when I'm not, it's a webinar that just like runs and then they book a call with
Yeah, who knows? It could literally be anything. It could be a tiny little
me. Yeah.
ad in a newspaper. Like,
But then you know what? It's like really hard to even like plan like that piece because it's like, am I getting the job? Am I not getting the job? It's like June 21st. Like kind of have to like have
what
that
if
ready
you
for
told the
July so
job?
that people like I have to have my availability for the calls to happen, so that when I launch that on the first, then I am like, hey, I can like have calls in the evenings or mornings or probably be like the evenings because I know their schedule. I just don't know what my schedule would be like exactly.
What if you just told the job that? Be like, hey, I have this thing planned. These are the dates. Can you work around it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one option. The other option is just being like, hey, like, if I hypothetically am going to have to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday at this job, what are the other times that I should book my pain program calls at? Maybe weekends, maybe evenings.
Yeah.
And if people
Like,
that want to join don't like that, then they're not going to join. And so you're just going to attract people who can come to those calls.
yeah. Like I think for the most part I would get off like at 5 or just after 5 or whatever. Like I don't know like their processes. So then I could do the evening. There'd be one evening I'd have to work late and then I'd have to work like one Saturday every month. So I feel like I could like work around that. But even it's just a lot. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm also kind of conflicted because then the second interview like came up and then I was like, well, maybe I'm just supposed to get excited about leaving and like I leave. Like, because if I had 20 people sign up, which isn't a lot, but if I had 20 people sign up for in-person pain program, I wouldn't need either job. So I don't know. And I would only work like 20 hours a week. So uh
What is like when you think about your pain program, what is the
mhm.
first thought of what is calling you to what you're supposed to do next?
What do you mean?
So it's like it sounds to me like your pain program has all these different moving parts that need to get done and it's creating overwhelm. So it's like what when it comes to the whole project, what is your very first instinct thought that pops in your mind of what needs to be done?
Um like getting the pieces like together so that people can actually enroll. Like the webinar and I have the sales page I made a really simple sales page because if I saw someone in person, I would give them a particular link that would essentially just um like that they would like put their email in and then they would like get a link from me by email to like book a call,
Okay,
right? So that we would like
pause. How can you simplify that even more?
um I don't know how. Well, I want to
So
get like
it's
their email, right?
sure, could they just text it to you?
Sure.
I,
Because
I'm
I guess I could just like put it in.
basically my whole point is this task is from what I'm understanding is overwhelming for you. So it's like how can you simplify it even more right now, for now, not forever, so that you can just start the process. And could it be, not saying it has to be, but could it be as simple as, here's a card with my phone number on it, call me.
Yeah.
No webpage needed, no webinar needed.
So yeah, okay, so as I'm making like the no webinar.
Not saying that you need to never have it, just saying that for right now, because it is seeming to me that all these tasks are so overwhelming to you. It's like, how can you simplify it for now so that you can just start this thing? And once it's started, you'll have a lot more disposable income to get help with it, and or maybe time to put towards it.
The thing is like, then where am I going to meet the people? Because I don't particularly want to get clients from the store.
How were you originally going to get people to go to your website?
I was gonna do like paid local ads for Instagram and Facebook with the webinar. And then I was going to do like live, basically like the webinar, but live, like book some local things and do them live. Because I'm not going to get like into all the nitty gritty details, but I just, in my heart and for an alignment for me, I don't want to be getting the majority of my clients from the store. I'd like to get them like outside of the store.
So you said there was another thing other than the ads that you were going to go to?
Yeah, I was going to like do like in-person, like seminars basically. And then talk about like pain and like emotions, and then like connect with people like one-on-one. Right, like I'm really connecting with them in person, and then like sending them like the information that they would like need to book.
Right.
And I would still probably have a call with them because I need to really talk with them like for 30 minutes and really make sure they understand like how much like is required of them in the program, because I don't want to work with people who are like, oh, that's too much, or like, I'm not there for that right now.
Okay, can I give an outside perspective?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I know that I shake your shit up all the time, but it's just like, why not, right?
Yeah, like this is what it feels like to be the client. Like this is what I do to my clients. So it's like, oh my gosh.
So part of the reason why I'm going to suggest what I'm suggesting is because I do have 10 plus years in online marketing. Ads is typically something that people go to after they're already making a lot of money doing like whatever they're selling in the ad. You don't have any sales yet for this yet, right?
Yeah.
So that might not be the smartest business decision as far as marketing goes, just because you could spend a shitload of money on ads and not actually make your money back. Whereas if you were to go to the seminar, connect with people face to face, which gives you so much more rapport, it's free, and literally just bring yourself a fucking notebook and be like, hey,
I don't know if it's free.
Well, I mean,
I would have to like pay for the space. Well, I would charge people to come to it and just basically pay for the room.
Oh, well, there you go. Self-liquidating offer, they call that.
Yeah. But then I'm like, I don't want to like make it too cheap, because like I don't want people who are like, oh, I can't afford like that program. So it's like, you know what I mean? Because if it's like only like $10 to like then am I just attracting a bunch of people who are like, oh, I can only afford like $10? Or am I overthinking it? I don't know.
I think that's a little bit overthinking it, because it's like a buyer is a buyer. So the person might not buy the seminar, might not buy the program from you right then and there, but they also might, depending on the amount of value you give them in the seminar. But the whole point of that is, if you get enough people in that room, you can say, hey, if you're interested in going deeper, I have a program. If you're in, you can sign up right now, but I can talk to you a lot more about it if we have a call together, and just book a call. Like, no need to send them anywhere. Just give them your fucking phone number and like book, like have a little calendar book with you and just be like, hey, this is our date. I'll send you a text right now so you have a reminder.
Yeah. So the reason why I was gonna send them the link first and like do that was because I was gonna like send them like my Google Drive with all of like the like information they needed to know and then like book the call. But then after I thought, I was like, actually, I'm gonna do that after. So I'll have the call with them and then I'll like send them that so that they can like reread over, like if they don't decide to do it like right then and there, then they can like read over the stuff and like see what the program like has and like the payment link.
Yeah. So like something that we do at my company is we do take calls as well. But when someone books the call, we say, hey, go and check out these links of this information about what we do, what we sell, our FAQs, everything like that. So when you come to the call, you can actually ask appropriate questions and not waste each other's time.
Oh,
So could you just,
that's even better.
so yeah, so you could do something even similar and be like, pretend you're at this seminar, you are like, hey, anyone that's interested in this, you can sign up right here. Just put a fucking like sheet of like paper for people who want to sign up and like you could like take their payment or whatever right there. Or if you want more information, let's book a call, come up here.
Well, I
and
don't
like
want to take their payment right then and there because I don't want to, I really want to be careful about the clients that I choose for this.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Because I've worked with a lot of like people and like one of the main questions to me is like, do you believe that you can actually like overcome this pain fully, completely, like for good?
mhm.
Because if you don't believe that, I don't want to work with those people who are still kind of like in that space because that's a lot of extra work for me to like get that client to the point where they believe that they can like heal it. And then we got to like heal it. It's like you already got to believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
And then we're going to like go to work because when you believe it's possible,
I
I feel like
have
the
this
magic happens quicker.
feeling that when you do these seminars, people are going to want to talk to you right there at the seminar. They're not going to want to wait to book a call with you. So I just want to throw that out there so that you don't have this expectation that like,
So
I
then
want everyone
like
to book this call.
how does that work though? Like if I'm in the room, I've only booked it for a certain amount of time and then like chatting with people. So people are just gonna like wait around to like chat with me, like,
Probably.
you think so?
Yeah.
Maybe I could have two options. If you want to like talk to me now, like line up basically. And if you want to like have a call, if you like gotta go, then like here's a sheet and sign your name, put your email, we'll have a call.
Yeah, you can just judge by like a raise of hands, even be like, who's interested in this program? Raise your hand. Who wants to learn more about this program? Raise your hand. Who's ready to just book a call with me so we can see if we'd be a good fit to work together?
Yeah.
And then right there on the spot, you're like kind of getting some feedback. And so you can just be like, oh, okay, cool. I only have an hour left. I only have 10 minutes left in this room, guys. So um, if any of you want to talk to me right now, let's meet out in the hallway or whatever, Or if you don't have time to stand around and wait, just drop your phone number on this sheet of paper right here, your name and your phone number, and I'll get in touch with you. Just like make
Yeah.
it super simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, right?
What if what if I also it's to keep it free, what if I did like a what if I hmm, what if I did like a paid ad saying that I was gonna do like free seminars, but like outside, like at Horlock Park or something?
Yeah. Like free is probably going to attract a lot more people.
Yeah.
It's just going to be more work for you to qualify them, right? So just like making sure that you deliver like a lot of value in your free seminar, because then people will be like, holy shit, if this is her free stuff, I wonder what her paid stuff is like.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like from my perspective and my experience in all this whole realm is when people buy something, they're more likely to buy something again. When it's free, you attract more people, but it's just a little bit more work to like get them over that first hurdle.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
So both of them are good.
Okay.
But I would just go with the one that is like feeling the lightest for you. And so again, for
Probably
like
that,
anyone,
because like when I connect with people, like that's when the magic happens, you know?
yeah. This is
Yeah.
honestly this is usually how a lot of high ticket coaches teach people to sell their high ticket programs is they start off by booking a call. And I don't know if you've seen this in the internet land before, but like usually when people have a high ticket program, it almost always goes to book a call with me.
Right.
It's like very rare that it's just like, here you go, sign up.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
I was
so
also saw
you
this
just
guy
treat
said like you
yourself as
should
like,
have like a really high ticket like offer, and then you're like your offer, your regular, like the one that you're trying to sell, and then one that's like way more,
yeah,
like way more.
usually after you prove your results, that's when you come up with like a high level
Um,
program. I was just reading a book actually from a guy named Russell Brunson, who is the one who created this concept of sales funnels online.
right. Yeah.
And what he said, and it was funny that I just read that last night. He's like, I wanted to create this inner circle and I wanted to charge $25,000 per year for people to be in it. And he's like, but I had no results. I had no testimonials to show people that I could actually help them. So he's like, I had this one guy who was just following me and I was like, hey, can I come and consult with your business for a day? And then and I want to help you for free. And the guy's like, what's the catch? He's like, there's no catch. I just want to help you. And he's like, I went there flew to his business for a day to talk with his company, whatever, and then spent about another month like in emails going back and forth. He's like, I helped them increase their sales by $1 million that year. And then that funnel went on for the next 3 years to make $24 million. So he's like, that one thing that I did for free to prove my concept, now he charges like, I don't even know what it is. It's something fucking crazy, like $100,000 a year for people to be in his inner circle.
Crazy. Cool.
So it just shows you the power of like, you know, if you are going to do something for free, make it super valuable, show people that you could actually help them. And then you can use that as, you know, proof for future
Yeah.
stuff.
You know, I'd almost have to do like live, like mini sessions, like super mini. I don't know about that. Okay, yeah, just never. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. But how do I get people to like come to the event? I think that's another stressor too. I'm like, how are they gonna like know about it? How are they gonna like come to it? Like, do I make an ad for the event? The
Well, there's a
event?
few things that I could think of off the top of my head is you could join like meetup groups in the city, or even create
Okay.
your own meetup group, or just create a public event on Facebook and share it and just be like, hey, like share this with anyone that you think would be interested. Just try to think of like, where do people go when they're looking for things to do that relate to this? Where do they go? It's like, for me, for example, just recently I was like, okay, I want to find some local things that I can go to, you know, meet some people, like experience some new things. And I just went on Facebook and I just typed in Kamloops events and like all these random ass events came up of all these different things all around the city. And that was free for me to do that.
Yeah.
So just try and think of like, where are some other places that when I was in Vancouver, meetup like the website Meetup or the app or whatever is a lot more popular than it is here. So that's where I used to go to find things to
I
do.
think like Eventbrite too is a place where people go to find events.
Yeah. I mean, you can, if you just give yourself
that
enough
costs anything.
time for people to find it, right? So if it's going to be in like a month or something, then maybe it's a good time to post it. Excuse me.
Yeah. See, now I feel all overwhelmed again. I'm like, do I need like more time to like get people if like that's what I'm doing then?
More time just means more exposure, right?
Yeah. So it's like,
But
then do I like
I don't
start
know.
it in
Do you?
October? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
So I think this is where you need to like tap into that inner knowing. It's like, can you sit with it and just ask your higher self, where do I need to go? Or what do I need to do to attract people to me?
Hmm.
And I don't think it has to be as complicated as as you've been thinking, which
Yeah,
is
I'm
what's
making it
causing the
super.
overwhelm. Because those things that you want, that you've been thinking of doing, those are amazing things to do. That's what a lot of businesses do, but usually after they have all this stuff already like going, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, it
for
also just makes
example,
it hard too, because it's like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know what my schedule is gonna like be like. So I like, and
just
like the
set a
overwhelm
date.
comes with that. Like, how am I supposed to set this all up and have it ready by like September then? Because the way my program is set up too is like, if you enroll from like July to August, like within that month, you get $500 off anything after that. So it's like, if I'm not like seeing like booking until then, how's the word getting out?
I think it's just something that you're going to have to sit with for a moment and just ask yourself, like, what feels like the right path for me? Or what am I not seeing? What am I not attracting into my perspective of how this can happen?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, because I'm like, and I hope that this is enlightening for other people listening, because what I'm trying to demonstrate here is you don't always have to know 10 steps ahead. In like, especially in entrepreneurship, you usually only know 1 or 2 steps ahead. It's like you're walking in a fog, and that's just like the name of the game, really,
Yeah.
because things
Feels
change
like
so
that.
much. You have to be able to adapt. So it's like, okay, what is my very next step? Worry about the next step, and then worry about the step after that once you've taken that first step. Because once we start worrying about all these other things down the road, that's when overwhelm comes in, and we go, how the fuck am I going to do all of this? When in reality, it could be as simple as being like, okay, step one, what is step one? I need to post a public Facebook event. Okay. Step two, I need
I
to
need to
share
find a
this
space.
event.
So do you get payments from there or
Well, if you're
like
doing a
then how,
free one, then
well, no, I don't know if I want to do the free one. So if I'm doing like the paid one, then I'll have to find like a space to do that.
is that the most easeful and simplest path?
I don't know, is it? I'm like, I think it is, but you make me doubt myself that it's not.
Well, that's something that you have to ask. That's something you need to sit with and ask yourself, right? Like, I can't answer that for you. Like, obviously my perspective and my experience is going to be totally different from yours, and what my truth is going to be different from your truth. So like for me personally, organizing big events like that is heavy. It doesn't feel good to me. But to just put out an event that says like, hey, meet me in Horlack Park at this date and this time. We're going to do this like fucking cool healing thing. I'm like, okay, sweet. I don't fucking have to do anything but put out an event and show up. But some people like doing that other part of it. Some people like that. That feels good. So then I would say
gonna make it like super huge. I was thinking like multiple like events of like 20 people. Like, yeah.
And
I don't know. I
maybe,
just want to like crawl in a hole and just.
maybe that's another thing to just be open to. Is like, okay, what space is possible for me for this? And maybe someone will call you up again and be like, hey, did you know that this library has a space for free? You just have to book it. I don't know, something.
Lots of things to think about. I'd be curious to hear from our listeners and anyone watching, like their experience with like overwhelm and like making changes in their life, and just like how that's like affecting them and like how they're working like through that.
Yeah, what are you overwhelmed with? And if you weren't judging it, if you weren't projecting on it, if you didn't have expectations about it, what would you choose to make that more easeful?
Yeah.
And some people might say, I'm just going to crawl in a hole and hide. But is that actually creating more ease for you, or is it just going to create more anxiety because now you're like, well, now I feel fucking guilty and shamed because I didn't do the fucking thing and blah blah blah.
Totally.
Because I know from experience that quitting feels like fucking shit. It feels shittier than just being like, you know what, guys, this is not my path anymore. I'm going this way. Who wants to come with me?
I feel like I'm usually pretty good at like recalibrating myself. Like I'm not one to give up. I'm like, hey, solution. But this change has been like this pivot has been like the one of like the most overwhelming changes, I would say. Like one of the most hardest to like pivot and find the solution, because it's like in a totally different realm of what I've ever done before. And it's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. What if your new store will allow you to have space for this event? What if your new store has some way to promote your thing to people? Just saying, like there's so many possibilities.
I thought about that, but then just like from my experience at this other place, I'm not sure if I want to work in a place where it's like I actually work there, and I don't want to have like my clients there. Like I kind of want it to be separate, just because I find like it can get complicated.
So why couldn't it still be separate? Why couldn't you use their resources and still be separate?
They don't have like a room, like a big room.
Right.
Yeah. So like Healing Connections here in Edmonton, like if I worked there, possibly, because I do have a room that's like a room where they like host workshops and events and stuff like that.
I guess all I'm saying is that maybe what you're expecting it to look like doesn't have to be that way. Just as an example, I've worked in retail space where we've opened the store after hours, usually for staff stuff, but other people can sometimes come too. And we just do the thing in the store, and it's all good. It's like, it's a little bit different because people aren't used to that kind of environment for stuff like that. But maybe that is one of the possibilities of how do I find space with ease.
You mean like
and also
not
maybe not have to pay for it.
Not at the new space, but the current store I'm at, you mean?
No, the new space.
I don't know if there's like space for that. It's pretty like small in there. Like they have a pretty big like front desk, and like it would be, I guess, weird.
my point is my point is not that it has to be at the store or that it has to be this way or that you need to do this. My point is that what else is possible? Like you brought this new opportunity into your life for a reason. What else is possible with them that you might be able to utilize? And it might show up in a way that you can't even see right now. For example, let's just think hypothetical. Not that this is going to happen or it has to happen, but hypothetical. Hey, manager, you know what? I love this place. I'm super excited to work for you guys. And I just want you to know I'm also building this program on the side. And I'm looking for ways to get about 8 clients to do this with me. And so I just want you to know that, because I do have another thing that I'm working on. These are the dates, and I'm actively searching for clients. So I just want to let you know that, so that you know that I have some other things on my mind, and I I connect with clients everywhere and anywhere. And I just don't want there to be any type of like conflict of interest. And they might say, oh, that's amazing. You know what? We actually have a list, an email list of local people looking for this exact thing. You want us to email them for you? You're like, holy shit, sweet. So not saying that conversation needs to take place or that will happen or anything like that. Just saying, like, what possibilities could there be?
Yeah. And like it's a very interesting experience right now, because like I'm like, it's weird because like I'm the one who's like experiencing this and like putting like the limitations and like, the judgments and conclusions and everything. But I'm also like seeing it from this like place of like me as like the practitioner of like, yeah, like you gotta like work through that and like see what else like is possible, that like anything could happen. I don't have to make it so like limited. And so I hope the listeners are like getting that, like opening like their mind, because it is hard sometimes, like when you're in it.
Yeah.
You really just want to be like, well, it's like this, or it has to be like this way, or like I gotta do this, or it can't be that way, or you have all these like things, but it's like, how much easier could it be if you just like let that all go and just kind of
Exactly.
like we're willing to like receive like whatever like possibility like there is actually out there, because it could be anything.
And it's scary sometimes too, because when you don't know
yeah.
how that's going to show up, but maybe it's coming down to the wire, that is fucking scary. And I totally get it. It's like
There's a
now,
lot of
for
unknowns right
example,
now.
yeah, like in my life right now, my partner and I are juggling finances. And I was like, you know what? We're going to live the way that we want to live. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but somehow we're going to have the money that we need to do all these things. And I just tried to stay in that energy and be open to receiving. And then what happened? Boom, I received a random amount of money from just something that I promoted on the internet a long time ago. That was fucking sweet. And then an old client emailed me and says, hey, I need some work done. Can you help me? So I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Things are coming in. Like, I am not actively promoting those two things. They just came to me. So just having that energy of like, I can receive, I will receive, I have everything that I need, and just be open to those opportunities, because I could have easily just said to that client, sorry, I don't do that work anymore. But no, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I like it.
So anyway, I feel like this has been another kind of eye-opening experience of like how to follow your inner knowing, but it's a little bit different in the sense of how can you be open to possibilities?
Yeah.
How can you stop judging and putting expectations on something and projecting your points of views on things, which is actually cutting you off and limiting your possibilities.
Cutting you off. Yeah. Totally.
And
Yeah, and like
I have this feeling that like something is just gonna pop up for you again, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck? This like random ass opportunity happened." Like, who knows?
probably
Maybe it's like
that was so wild.
some local fucking yogi who like needs someone at their event to like talk about some other type of healing, and you fucking go, and it's like you don't have to organize anything, but you talk to all these people.
Yeah, because honestly, yeah, truthfully, like anything is possible. That's the truth. So, um, I have been putting a lot of like judgments and conclusions and expectations on this, like a lot. And it feels really heavy, and I don't like it. And then when that opportunity came to me, like after that last like the last like episodes, yeah, it just felt so much lighter. It's like, oh, like anything like is possible. Like, and I didn't even have to like do anything. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I
like there
think it's
is like
hard
that piece
to,
of your brain that's like freaking out a little bit. It's like, oh my God, like it's not in my control.
yeah. Yeah, you
Like
can't always control it,
how's it
right?
all gonna like work out? And like, yeah.
I
But I
think
do
this is
believe like there's
hard too. And especially as someone who's like for the last 10 years, like followed all these marketing people and thought, okay, they're successful doing it this way. I need to do it that way. And just now getting to the point realizing I don't have to do it the exact fucking same way that everyone else does it. You know, maybe Bob made a great following on YouTube and that's how he does it. Maybe Jane used TikTok and that's how she does it. But Gary over there just went to his local home hardware and got 1,000 followers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
just saying
Yeah.
that, like, there are obviously certain techniques that have worked time and time again, but that's not to say that those always have to be used in that exact way all the time.
Should I just like hang out with like business cards? Like, should I just like hang out outside of like physio and chiropractic buildings?
Fuck yeah. Just walk around the mall, like fuck, go to West Edmonton Mall on a weekend where there's like a shitload of people walking around and be like, hey, how you doing in life? You know what? Got some pain? Here's my card. Let's talk about it.
I'm not sure if that works for my personality type, but that just like makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I just like go up to people like that. I'd have to have like, I don't know, alcohol or CBD gummies or something.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, they are. Yep. I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna
what
like
other events are happening
meditate
in
on that.
Edmonton?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely meditate on it and just like, you know, maybe you play off of other people's events. Go check out what are the other events happening. Is there anything somewhat
Like
related?
I want to think too, like where are people um where are the people who are like in chronic pain? Like where are they at?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want to talk to like those people. So
Maybe
I
somebody
don't
is already holding a seminar for this in the city. Maybe you could reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want someone to come and speak about the emotional component of this at your seminar? I'm your gal.
yeah.
Like, who knows? Anything could happen.
I guess like you know, in your brain you just feel like you have to like seek it out. Like you have to make it happen. Like you have to find that person or find like you have to like find it. And that's where my brain is at. It's like, oh, I have to like find the space. I have to go out of my way to like to,
Mm-hmm.
to have that.
And that
It's like
comes
the
back
pressure's
to
on.
what we've said so many times. If you find yourself saying, I have to, or I should do, that's a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be cutting you off from the possibility of maybe you're just sitting watching Netflix one day and you have this urge to just go and look up something. And then you find, oh, there's this thing happening. Oh, this person needs someone that is similar to me. Blah. Like, you know, it could happen in so many different ways. It's just staying in the energy of like how and like how can this happen and what else is possible to make this happen and what can I receive?
Yeah.
How can I be open to receive it?
Yeah, that's a good one. How can I be open to receive it? I like that one a lot.
Well, I'm really excited to see what perspires in the next week because I feel like after we have these, you come to me like a week later and you're like, oh my God.
And this is kind of like a good demonstration for people too of like this is kind of what it's like when you come like for sessions and you like work things out and you have awarenesses and you kind of like get cut off from your like judgments and conclusions, right? And your limitations by us like leading you through that. Like this like the experiences that like might pop up on our next like episodes, like that is just showing you like of what else actually is possible. Like I'm gonna come to you like next week or the week after and say like this is what was possible, like this is what happened. So that's
Yeah.
like exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, just so folks know who haven't had a sit session before, we don't necessarily go this deep into the conversation. But this was mainly because I wasn't using a lot of statements on Kirstin.
Right.
I was just digging into her psyche about and just kind of getting her self-aware, which is another way to do this type of healing, is just become aware of it. But anyway, sit
Yeah.
goes, goes into that without you having to put so much fucking mental effort into it.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, I really enjoyed this conversation today,
Yeah, me too. This is
but I
good.
feel like we need to say goodbye to the folks for today and
Yes.
continue on the next episode.
Okay. Bye guys.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. We did not introduce ourselves today, but you've been listening to Yin and Yang Healing, Exploring Beyond the Physical with Kirstin and Derek.